I'm World Cup champion Megan Klingenberg. Wondering who you should root for at the FIFA Women's World Cup? I'm hosting a new podcast, My New Favorite Futbolista, where I will introduce you to soccer's brightest stars and the causes they are championing. From the 22-year-old American phenom speaking out about student-athlete mental health,
I try to just approach everything with you don't know what someone's going through,
to the U.S. defender who travels to tournaments with her young son.
Am I ever gonna be able to run for 5 minutes straight?
Check out My New Favorite Futbolista wherever you listen to podcasts.
Edit audio.
What is the WNBA? I wish I knew. I am so sorry. I feel like I'm letting people down by not knowing this. Would not be allowed. I don't know. I'm sorry.
This is Rebound Revolution, a not-so-basketball podcast bringing you the revolutionary on and off the court happening in the WNBA. From queer baddies to history to ones to watch, join me, Money, as we get into it all. This week, I'm joined by all-star player and league crush, Courtney Williams. We dive into how queerness informs personal style, seeing yourself represented in the W, and how good she is at trash talk.
My mom and my pops, they instilled in me never let nobody take my voice away. I don't care what room I'm in. If I genuinely feel something and I know that it's valid, I'm gonna speak on it.
I hear people use the word intersectionality a lot these days. But I think a little concept drift has happened with the term since it was first defined by Kimberly Crenshaw. See, when Crenshaw, who is a law professor, came up with the term, she was attempting to describe the legal injustice Black women were experiencing in discrimination lawsuits. Specifically, Black women could either sue based on experiencing sexism or experiencing racism, but not both. Crenshaw explained that Black women have a different experience of being Black than Black people who aren't women. And similarly, Black women have a different experience of being women than women who aren't Black. She explained that systems of oppression are not singular experiences, but in fact rely on each other to exist and are experienced all at once, making it kind of impossible to separate out which one is causing the injury for folks who navigate multiple systems of oppression. She compared it to a car crash at an intersection where nobody saw the actual accident, just the crumpled mess in its aftermath. So, intersectionality refers to these injuries at intersections of oppressions. It's a theory about multiple oppressions being experienced at the same time. Now, while Crenshaw wasn't the first to write about this, she was in her bag with that intersections metaphor, and thus the term kind of stuck. But these days, when people use the term, it actually sounds like they're referring to a phenomenon that the Combahee River Collective called simultaneity, almost 20 years before Crenshaw gave us the term intersectionality. Basically, what the collective explained is that our identities are not just tagged by the oppression we experience. There's so much knowledge and joy in our identities too. And probably most relevant to women's basketball, the Combahee River Collective wrote that we are all of our identities, everywhere, all the time, simultaneously. Simultaneity feels like a celebration of the particular experiences we have based on all the layers of who we are, not just a list of our oppressed parts. That's what it kind of feels like people are getting at in conversations about intersectionality now. What I love about simultaneity, too, is that it feels like it holds space for shifts in our identities. For example, I'm gay now. Being gay now doesn't just mean that I'm out, but for me, it means that I now have an awareness of how being a lesbian informs my womanhood, my life as a Black person, my style, my politics, things I'm into, even the way I podcast. It informs everything. Hey, Courtney, thank you so much for being here on Rebound Revolution with me.
What's up?
I'm trying to calm down because I've seen you play like live before, and I just can't believe I'm talking to you right now. So, hey.
What's up? It's all love, man.
Courtney Williams needs no introduction, but can you introduce yourself for the listeners?
For sure. So I'm Courtney Williams. I play for the Chicago Sky. This is my 8th year in the WNBA.
Do you have like a favorite W moment?
I think my favorite moment was probably our 2019 run when I went to Connecticut. Because my pops, everybody just made my pops famous. Now you can't tell him nothing. Like, you really can't tell him nothing. Like, but I love that for him because he's such a character. He got so much energy. So I think just having the people showing him love and making him go viral, he was just like, you can't tell him nothing, man. You can't tell him nothing.
Yeah, I think seeing him on the sidelines and people being like, "Oh, that's Courtney Daddy." He's like yes.
Oh,
yes.
He love it. Hey, he be having me crying because he talking like, yeah, people be asking me what my name is. I say my first name Courtney, last name Daddy.
That's so amazing.
So funny, man.
Okay, so you played with Chicago Sky, and when you got to Chicago, you said that you felt wanted there. Can you talk a little bit more about that experience and how it's been being in Chicago?
Yeah, so, free agency is already a lot, right? Like, it can be good, but it can be bad. It can be uneasy because it's like everybody is valuing your work, right? So it's already this uneasy feeling. But I think Chicago came in, like I said, like having Kalia reach out to me, having a coach like, come on, man, like let's get it popping. Like, I feel like that just put that battery in my back. Like, all right, like, this feel good. Yeah. But I've been loving it out here in Chicago, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I ain't know the fans showed this much love out here. But, yeah, that's crazy. Like, right when I signed, everybody was like, yeah, the basketball coach in Chicago. I'm like, I ain't never been to Chicago other than the times that we had to play Chicago. Yeah. So I ain't never really know like that. But now the fans, like, they be here. Like, they here for sure. They be showing love. And I just think, like, James too, like the way he see the game, I think the way he prepared, like I didn't know he was like that either. You know what I'm saying? So I think just playing for him and just the way he see the game, the way he approached the game, the way he wants us to approach the game, like it's definitely been a time. So I've been enjoying myself. We've been losing a little bit, but it don't feel like that. That feeling is major because you can be losing and that feeling can make it feel like, man, we might as well wrap this season up. Right? But I think with us, like, we losing, but I feel like it's like a brick every single game is what it feel like. Like, all right, we laying a brick. Like, we lost this one, but we laying a brick. We lost this one, but we laying a brick. And I think we're going to eventually get to the point that we need to get to because reality is none of us played with each other. Majority of us never played with each other. Yeah. Right? So we still building that chemistry. We trying to figure things out. We got people that got hurt, right? So it's next man up. And like I said, I think long as we that feeling stay, like we all right, like we gonna be good. And that feeling still there. I think we still hungry. And I think as long as that feeling stay there, I think we're gonna be all right. So
I know y'all gonna be all right. Because first of all, Chicago fans, not just in person, but also on WNBA Twitter, Chicago fans are serious, okay? And also, y'all played in the first ever WNBA game in Toronto.
For sure.
Can you talk a little bit about that experience?
Nah, that was smooth, man.
That's
like
history.
Yo, the fans flooded that gym out. Like, it was crazy.
The
for
tickets
real. Like,
sold out so quick.
That's just letting people in the world know, like, man, like, people really want to see this.
Yes.
Like, people really want to see this, especially because, like, you can get high for the Las Vegases and the New York, right? The super teams, right? And I think for it to be us who, quote unquote, not a super team, and then Minnesota who wasn't really a super team either, and for them to still flood that gym out, I think that's a statement, right? Man, I was hyped that I was able to be a part of that because, like you said, that's history.
Yeah. So, everybody is always whispering about, like, expansion. Well, maybe not whispering, screaming about expansion.
Yeah.
What do you think that game meant for, like, expansion?
I think it meant a lot because I think it shows that it's a place for it, right? I think it showed that people will show up and show out for women, right? Yeah. Women's basketball. I mean, obviously, we know it's a lot of logistics that come into play when you're talking about expansion, but I definitely think that was a great look and a step in the right direction just so, the people who do have to run the logistics of everything are able to see, like, they show up, they show out, they'll put money into this. So I think that was a good look for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely wanted.
Yeah, for sure.
What is something that you think people should know about the W that maybe you don't hear them talking about the W?
I think that everybody has a story. Because I think sometimes you can highlight, like, the superstar players, and then you sometimes lose, like, it's a space for everybody to be able to tell their story, because you never know, like, whose story could help who, right? And I think that we need to continue to keep doing that, continue to keep pushing everybody's story, because even the person that sit at the end of the bench has a story, right? And that could help somebody else, that can inspire somebody else, right? So I think just everybody just need to know, like, everybody have challenges that they overcame, right? That's a big thing. Like, everybody in the W has a story. So maybe sometimes take the time to actually, like, if it's not pushed to the forefront, research, like, somebody's story, right? Because they got it. It's them. It's hard to get here, man. You feel me? Like,
it's the hardest league to make a roster.
There's a lot of people in the world, man. It's so many people in the world. So even for myself, I didn't think it was attainable. Because I just had never seen it from where I'm from, right? So it's like, for me to be here, it's like, dang, like, I'm one of the ones.
It's you, yes.
We heard you loud and clear. You love the WNBA and want more analysis and insight on your favorite players.
Welcome to Queens of the Court, an Odyssey original podcast. I'm your girl, Cheryl Swoops.
And I'm Jordan Robinson. All season long, we'll be bringing you the post-game analysis that you crave and sitting down for interviews with athletes across the W.
You can listen to Queens of the Court on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay. Do you have, like, favorite sneakers to wear?
Yeah, Moolah. That's who I'm with. Moolah kicks for sure. Yeah, they showing me love. We just got the customs out, the USF shorties, so them tough. And they got, like, a bunch of new colors dropping. So, are you talking about basketball shoe, or are you talking about, like, get fly shoe?
Oh, it's different?
It's levels to it for sure. Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't know.
No, I'm not hooping in no ones, no Jordan ones. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
So if we talking about just getting fly, like, with outfits, I go with the Jordan ones. Like, they're my favorites. Yeah. But if we talking about basketball shoes, like, I rock with the Moolahs because they tough.
Okay. As a person who don't play basketball, what's the difference between, like, a shoe that you play in and a shoe that you get fly in?
Oh, it's completely different. So the shoe that you play in, like, you want it to look good, but you want to feel good in that shoe. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want that shoe to be built to play basketball in. So you can't go out there hooping in no Jordan ones, even though Michael Jordan did it, but it's a different time. You know what I'm saying?
Not today's game.
Not today's game. Like, a lot of people, they don't actually hoop in Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Like, the popular Jordans that people be reselling and stuff like that. You don't hoop in them. You know what I mean? So that's the difference. Like, if you know, you know. But you need to know that.
I'm not out there playing with the energy like you.
You're not walking around getting fly in no Kyrie or no LeBron.
You know, I don't really wear sneakers no more.
What, you wear heels?
No. I feel like since the pandemic, all I've been wearing is slides.
Oh, my gosh.
That's it.
I feel you.
I'm not a fashion icon like you, Courtney, okay?
Yeah, I'm just saying, but it ain't what's on you, it's what's in you. So if your slides getting you busy, then rock out.
Yeah, exactly. The Adidas slides, all occasions, every color.
Okay.
They never did me wrong.
I feel that.
So speaking of shoes, I feel like almost every episode when I've asked people, like, who are their favorite walk-in outfits, everybody has named you.
Oh, word?
Yes.
That's smooth. I mean, we never know.
Did you ever anticipate being, like, a style icon?
Nah, I just get fly.
Yeah.
Like I said, like, it ain't what's on you, it's what's in you. So I can go to Walmart and get fly. Like, it's just all about how you carry yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can have on the ugliest thing ever, but if you walking around and you walking like you the flyest, I mean, look at Kanye. I don't be liking that stuff Kanye be wearing.
That's true.
But he walk around like he that guy, like he the flyest ever. So it's just the energy that he give off. You know what I mean?
But you do have style, though.
Of course.
Yeah, and it has evolved, like from watching you play in college to like now.
Right.
Like, how has it evolved? How did you grow into your style?
Oh, I'm gay now.
Yeah.
So like,
hey.
But I think when I was, like you said, in college, like I was still trying to find my show. So I was still like in that like dressing girly, like had a boyfriend, like kind of in the middle. And then when I kind of got like exposed to different things when I got to college, that's when I was able to be like, oh, okay, I think this fly. Like, okay, this fly. Now I'm mixing and matching and kind of just really finding myself. So I think college is where like I really found myself and I could really like step into like my swag, you know what I mean?
I heard you say the bundles ain't coming back. They're not coming back?
Nah.
That's a different era. Right.
Yeah, we can't bring them back. Man, it's just too much work. And I feel like
It's
once
a
you
lot of
done
work.
had short hair and you done jumped in the pools and able to just like get in the shower, just let all the water run over you and not have to worry about putting on a bonnet and laying down your leave. Man, it's too much when you got hair. You gotta lay down your leave out. You gotta make sure your edges lay. Gotta make sure your hair's. You see all of that stress. I don't gotta deal with that no more.
That's why I locked it.
And I don't ever want to again.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, look, locked too. My mom and my sister locked and they never turning back. They like, it's just too convenient.
Yeah.
For sure.
How do you think queerness impacted your style? Because you said, well, I'm gay now. So.
It impacted me a lot. Kind of like I got a masculine type of swag now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I be telling people they need to send their boyfriend to my page if they want him to get fly. You feel me? But that's how I dress now.
See, so you know you are a style icon.
Yeah, but you can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't put yourself in a box. Like, you gotta just be open to all different type of looks. And I feel like that's kind of what I'm stepping into now. Like, just being open. I don't know if I'm open enough for no heels in a dress, but I'm open to, you know what I'm saying, just different looks now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I be on Pinterest, you know what I mean? I be liking what I be seeing. So I be trying to not put myself in a box too much and just stay open to different looks.
I think one thing that I really admire about your style is like it's masculinity, but it's like a colorful and like energetic masculinity.
For sure.
You know, it's not like the monochrome drab.
Right.
Yeah,
we like to have fun with it over here.
The patterns and the prints. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
When you were in college, did it ever feel like you couldn't present the way you wanted to? Like, as opposed to now being in the league?
Yeah, it did feel like that at one point. I ain't gonna lie, because I feel like you don't see a lot of masculine females getting the marketing deals and even on commercials. Like, you know what I'm saying? You rarely see it. Like, you might even see, like, the stems. You know what a stem is, right?
Yes, I know what a stem is.
For the people who don't know what a stem is, basically, like, that middle area of a feminine and stud. So it's like, it's a stem, right?
Yeah.
So you even see, like, people who kind of present themselves as stems, kind of like the Sue Birds and Brianna Stewart. I kind of categorize them. You know, some people be like, I don't want to get categorized for it, but lack of a better example.
Yeah. I would even say, like, the Enriques.
Like, you see them, but you never really see just, like, a masked female that's really, like, killing it, or like on the commercials, or they like really promoting. And I think like in college, like I didn't see it, so I was like, dang, like if I want to get a shoe deal, or if I want to get on these commercials, or if I want to get to that next level and people put money into me, I gotta keep my hair, I gotta make sure
have the ponytail.
Yeah, like that's what it felt like to me. I ain't gonna lie. And then I got to the point where I was like, all right, man, like you gotta just take it or leave it. Like, I can't keep being uncomfortable, especially when I really came into my show. I was like, all right, I can't be uncomfortable no more. Like, I gotta do what feel right and feel good to me. And not only that, look good to me. Like, I gotta put on what look good and feel good, you know what I'm saying? And I think, like, it did take me a little minute to get to that place of just being comfortable in my own skin and knowing like, all right, even if I don't get the marketing deals or I don't have these companies wanting to put money into me, it's cool because shoot, I'm being who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm being what feels right to me. So, man, all y'all struggling, like, stay locked in.
Yes.
Be you. You know what I'm saying? Do and be yourself.
And I would say, just as a fan, like, I deeply appreciate you being you. And I'm just thinking about the day you shook Twitter up when you was like, why wasn't no masculine players on the front of that Sports Illustrated? And I feel like what they undervalue is, one, like, queer masculinity, but also, two, that's sexy to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So,
that's why I'm like, hold on. Like, especially because a good majority of the league is gay.
Yes.
So it's just like, let's just be for real. Like, y'all walk around with more masculine on a regular basis. So, like, that's what, to me, I wanted to see. Like, I want to look at that and feel like I can see myself on that.
Yes.
And I didn't feel like I could see myself on that. You know what I mean? Like, seeing that cover, and I didn't want to take away from it. That's why I was like, I'm glad that the visibility is getting there. But at the same time, it's like, it's still ways to go. Like, I want to feel represented as well. Because I'm a part of the W too.
Yes.
And it's a lot of people that look like me that's a part of the W as well. And we want to feel like we being represented as well. You know what I mean? So, it's levels to it.
I was going to ask you this later, but I think outside of your style, I think what even elevates your style, like you keep saying it's not on you, it's in you, is that you're like unafraid to like share your opinions. I'm thinking about like your comments in the 144 documentary. It just like stood out, right? Like I remember you saying something like, we here for the bag, but like we make a statement when we play. And I'm like, yes, Courtney. You know, so, I don't know. Would you consider yourself like an activist, or like where does that come from to just like share your opinion?
I just think on me, like, and I just feel like my mom and my pops, like, they instilled in me, never let nobody take my voice away. I don't care what room I'm in, right? I could be in a room with corporate people. I can be in a room with the rest of the 143. Like, I could be in the coaches meeting. It's like, if I genuinely feel something and I know that it's valid, I'm going to speak on it, right? Especially because it's like, you look around and you know people thinking it.
Yes.
So it's like, I know y'all thinking it. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm thinking it too, but it's like, I'm never going to let anybody cut my tongue off. Like, I'm going to always speak on what I feel, especially if I know that it's justified.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's always justified if I feel it. Like, I could be standing in there by myself.
Yeah.
But if I feel it, I'm going to speak on it, because I'm never going to let nobody take my voice away, because if your opinion matter, my opinion matter as well.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? So if I'm going to sit down and I'm going to hear y'all talk and speak on the things that y'all value and how y'all feel, like, we all going to speak on what we value and what we feel. You know what I'm saying? I just always been that way. Like, I ain't going to say I consider myself no activist. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, I'm going to speak up, though. No matter what room I'm in, I'm going to speak up.
Yeah. Well, I think just like the visibility and the like representation that I see in you, it's image activism, if nothing else. And it really does like...
Well, come on, man. I'm going to take it.
It really does like motivate other folks to show up in their skin and maybe like step into their voice a little bit more. So I appreciate it. Speaking of your voice, you know, because I done caught a few Athletes Unlimited games. You not shy to be talking on the court either. Trash talk is like...
Come on, man. We gonna talk. We gonna chat now.
Do you feel like that's a part of your game?
Yeah, it's like, I'm not no disrespectful, mean trash talker.
Yeah.
I'm like a trash talker where it's like trash talk, but it's still like a lightness to it, like a funniness to it in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like I'm on the floor like, I'll do your mom, man.
No, but
it's more for me. It's like, yo, you can't guard me. Like, stop it. You can't guard
like
me.
that.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like that type of vibe.
Yeah.
It's levels to trash talk, man. Some people be out there really like wilding on some of the stuff they say. Then you got some people who try and trash talk, and it's just like, don't trash talk. You don't know how to. Like, you know what I mean? Like, your trash talk suck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even take you serious. So it's levels to it. But yeah, I'm always check though. I'm always check.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I got this shot. You can't block that. You can't.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Be for real.
I was like, dang, it's bad enough you just dropped 20 points on them, but then you're going to tell them that they can't guard you.
Oh,
Courtney.
I got to tell you. I got to tell you too. I got to tell you what I did, just so you know.
I'm going to go back in time a little bit with you. When did you know that you wanted to do basketball, like, seriously?
Oh, shoot. I never really knew, to be honest. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I was never one of them people who was like, oh, I'm gonna play basketball. Like, I never even thought I would have had a chance, to be honest. Like, because I'm from a small town. You know what I mean? I only had one offer to college. It was
Tell them where you from, Courtney.
Yeah, I'm from Folston, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? So I'm from a small little town right at the Florida-Georgia borderline. But it's in Georgia. But everything that we do is in Florida. So, like, if I want to go home, I got to fly into Florida. See what I'm saying? Yeah, but I'm from a small little town, like, and we never even had a woman go D1. You know what I'm saying? So it was never something that I even thought was attainable. So, like I said, my mom's, like, had me running, like, all these tournaments, different things, different council, whatever. And I ended up having one offer from the University of South Florida. Like, my only offer, it was either that or the military. So I thought I was going into the military. I'm just like, all I know is once I graduate, I got to get out of my mama's house. Like, it don't matter what I do, but I got to get up out of my mama's house. So when South Florida offered me, like, my mama said, you better commit right now.
You going.
I literally committed right then and there. That was my only offer. And then when I got there, they didn't even really know me. Because the person that recruited me, like, I think, like, she seen me, so she knew what I could do. But the other coaches, they didn't really see me play for real, so they didn't really know what I could do. So I'm going into practice, like, couldn't even get into practice. Like, third, fourth string, couldn't even play. But then, you know how sometimes games kind of get, like, out of your control where you can't win, so you just throw people out there just like, let me just throw y'all out there, see what y'all can do.
Just
maybe
clear
y'all
the bench.
Us a spark.
Yeah,
let me clear the bench, for real. So he threw me out there. And in my head, I'm like, Court, just go out there and get 4 rebounds. Like, just whatever time you get, just go and get 4 rebounds. So that was my mentality. Like, just go get 4 rebounds because that's going to get some possessions. Like, and then you just slowly, like, gain trust, right? You gain trust. And I messed around and now I'm first person off the bench. And I'm like, okay, just don't mess up. Just don't mess up. And then that's kind of where I got to my freshman year. I went from not being able to even get into practice to working my way up to first person off the bench. Then my sophomore year, it was my time then. I'm like, all right, it's my team. Like, I'm about to handle my business. And then I think, like, going into my senior year is when my coach kind of started mentioning to me, like, Corey, you on a draft board? I'm like, what? Because I'm not even thinking, like, I even have a chance to get to that next level. I'm just like, all right, like, let me try and get this degree and figure out what's next for me. Like, I knew I was cold and I knew that folks couldn't see me. But to me, it was always like, all right, I got to just be put in the right room. And I just didn't know if I would be able to get put in that room. You know what I mean? But at the time, at South Florida, we was playing UConn. So that UConn team was Breonna Stewart, Mojel, Morgan Tug.
When I tell you I still hold a grudge against that UConn team.
I don't, because they the ones who got me drafted. Okay. Shout out to them. For real, because if it wasn't for playing them 4 years, and I was giving them like 20 every time we played them. So everybody was like, oh, that girl a pro because she playing against pros and giving them 20.
Right.
If I wouldn't have played against them, man, I don't know where I would be right now. So shout out to them UConn girls, man.
Okay, you making me look at it different now.
They the ones got me drafted for sure.
Okay. You just gave me a different perspective on it. I'm like, okay.
Man. Show them girls love.
Something else that you've talked a lot about is kind of like the double standard between men's basketball and women's basketball. And especially when it comes to like, I don't like showing any kind of energy or emotion on the court. Yeah. Like, why do you think that is? And do you feel like it's starting to change? Because I feel like there's like, you know, the younger girls who will eventually like be in the league one day. I feel like they have like energy and they're unapologetic about it. And part of that I think is because of like y'all, like your generation
Right.
of players.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I really don't know why it's like that, but it could also be like the perception of how women should carry themselves.
Yeah.
And it's tough, but that's just the society that we live in. I think we got to just continue to keep changing that narrative. Like, we can talk trash, we can play bully basketball, we can bang, like, and y'all have to let us do that and be okay with us doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just, like you said, just continuing to be ourselves and change that narrative of like, right, it's good. Like, we competing too. We can compete too in our own right and in our own way.
Yeah.
Just take time, man. Anything that you do is going to take time.
I feel like from the stands, I can see it, you know, as a fan, I can watch and see. But do you see like the influence that players like you and in your generation have on like younger players who are coming up?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's hard to see it when you in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to see it when you win it. Because, like, to me, I'm just being myself. So, like, when I see other people being themselves, I'm like, all right, turn up. I'm glad y'all being y'allselves too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not thinking like, oh, y'all able to be y'allselves because I was myself. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like I said, it's hard to see it when you're in it. For me personally, like, Cappy was a big influence for me.
Yes, Cappy.
Yeah, when I came into the league, like, I didn't watch the W. I ain't gonna lie, because like I said, I didn't even think it was attainable for me.
Yeah.
So for me, when I got in the league and I actually started watching it, and I seen Cappy, I'm like, oh my God, somebody my height, got tattoos, be like putting that on.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, man, like, I like her. She wrong.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because my first year going overseas, she came to my team late. And I remember her getting on the bus and saying, what's up, Court? And I'm like, you know my name. And she was like, come on, man, I know who you is.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I think it's hard when you actually in it to see the influence that you really have on the people coming up after you. So for me personally, like I said, like, to me, my influence was Cappy. I don't think you knew that until like it's later on in your career. And now you like, now I can give you your flowers. You know what I'm saying? Now I can let you know, like, bro, like, I really wouldn't have been able to move the way I moved or even think moving the way I moved was okay had I not seen you. Being able to see it, the visibility. So now I'm like, okay, like, I can do that too. Like,
what you just said is part of the reason, even beyond, you know, you are an incredible player, but even beyond your play, why I feel like you are so important. Because like when you can't see it, it's really hard to believe that you could do it.
Real.
And I think on so many levels, you are that. Like, just like your visibility as like a masculine queer woman, the way you play, your like humor, your openness. I just want to give you your flowers while you in it. And I just can't wait to see what's coming. So,
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Okay, so where can folks find you?
All right, boom. Y'all can find me on the gram at Courtney Williams 10.
And if you're not following Courtney, do yourself a favor and follow Courtney, okay?
Come on, man. Rock out.
Yes. All right. Thanks so much, Courtney. This was amazing talking to you.
Love, man. I appreciate y'all.
Welcome to the orange carpet. Now, we know these W players don't just give their all to the game. They also like to look real good doing it. So in this little segment, we roll out the orange carpet to give some shine to players, past and present, killing the fashion game. From signature hairstyles to the unforgettable shoe game, let's get into the styles that we love to see. This week, I'm rolling out the orange carpet for the Agumake sisters, Nneka and Chiney. So Nneka and Chiney have been doing these coordinated sister walk-in outfits this season, and I love it. Nneka and Chiney have played together for the LA Sparks for a few seasons now, but this season, it seems like they came to say something as sisters with these tunnel fits. For Pride Night, they repped for Nigeria, which is where their family is from, with opposite colored fits and walked in together. They look like a basketball version of Chloe and Holly, okay? I also loved that they did this on Pride Night because it felt like it lended visibility to queer Nigerians. So like Chene was in this all black, like Naija outfit, and Nneka was in like an all white with some pops of green. And it was just amazing. More recently, the two of them wore these monochromatic purple walk-in fits. Totally different vibes to each sister's outfit, but all the same colors of purples. Oh my goodness. May these two retire as Sparks together because they both looked so amazing in these purple outfits. So to the Agwumake sisters, I love the coordinated sister walk-in outfits. Please keep it coming. Let me know who else y'all want to see on the orange carpet. There are a lot of dope players in the W, but not everyone gets their flowers. And I want to make sure they do. So I'm going to shout out a player who everyone should know in a little segment called Money's MVP. And speaking of the Agwumakes, this week, my MVP is Nneka Agwumake. So Nneka is probably most known for being the outspoken president of the WNBA Players Association. I mean, just as I think back in my memory, I can't think of another person who has held this position that has been as vocal and visible as Nneka has. I'm thinking about her pushes for paid parental leave for players. And last year, all she did to highlight BG's Russian detention and trying to get her home, Nneka has just been a force as the president of the WNBA Players Association. So that's probably what she's best known for. But y'all, Nneka is an incredible basketball player. Her current team is the Los Angeles Sparks. And something you should know about Nneka, she was drafted number 1 in 2012. And in 2016, when the Los Angeles Sparks won the championship, Nneka was the MVP that season. And somehow she was still snubbed from the USA Olympic team that year and has actually been snubbed for 3 Olympic cycles. So I don't know what is going on behind the scenes at USA Basketball, but Nneka has never made the roster for the Olympics. And instead of, slamming USA Basketball, she petitioned to play for Nigeria, where her family is from. And the USA Basketball Association actually approved her petition, but FIBA denied it, I guess because of her association with USA Basketball. I don't know how that works, but I do know that she is petitioning again for the next Olympic cycle to play for Nigeria. And I really hope Nneka gets it, okay? Because she deserves to be an Olympian. I can't wait to see her in the Nigerian uniform out here playing in the Olympics. I wanted to make sure that I gave Nneka her flowers because she's not really a household name when people talk about incredible basketball players, even though she was a number 1 overall draft pick. She's the MVP. She's won a championship, and she's an 8-time All-Star. She's an All-Star again this year. And on top of all of this, Nneka is still playing like she just got here. She's still playing as if she has something to prove around being a great basketball player. And she doesn't. Her resume is stamped and certified. She is good. So shout out to Madam President Nneka Agwumake. Who else do y'all think that I should make an MVP? Rebound Revolution is an Edit Audio original podcast created in collaboration with The Cube. I'm your host, Money McEachern, and this episode was produced by Melissa Houghton, Mick Finnegan, and me. It was edited, mixed, and mastered by Mick Finnegan. Our supervising producer is Anna Deshawn. Our executive producer is Steph Colburn. Thank you to Kathleen Speckert and the whole Edit Audio team.